All right. Welcome to BS and Viewpoints. It's your man Winston, and this is
I'm Cuddy Coastal. How y'all doing? How you doing, brother? Overall,
doing pretty good. It was a nice day today in Ohio, surprisingly.
I ain't even been outside, man. Plantar fasciitis been killing me. Like it still hurt. I do wear stuff protecting it. It's just that it has to heal. But even when you can't put the protection on and then just expect it to be healed, even though it's not. It still hurts. And he said it could be a few weeks. So I'm upbeat, man. I'm upbeat and positive as best as I can. So for all y'all out there who do watch BS and Viewpoints, keep me in your thoughts and prayers, and it is all good. But man, you see this? You see this story in Oklahoma with this 13-year-old little boy? There was this little 13-year-old little boy. He had on a shirt that he wanted real bad for his birthday. His mama bought it for him. It says Black King. His teacher, which is a superior, because there is a hierarchy in school, the teacher says, "How would you feel like if I wore a shirt that says White Queen?" Well, just about all the queens that have been portrayed for the longest time have been white. So you feel the need to wear a shirt that says White Queen. On top of that, she said we need a White History Month, and I'm like, well, you get that 12 months out of the year. It's the
Yeah,
stories you don't. It's stories we don't even tell, and we don't even tell in our history class. Whether it's world history, you never really talk about Shaka Zulu. You never talk about Mansa Musa. You never talk about too many of the, like, you never talk about Kemet. You never talk about any of the African history. It's not taught in class. It's really not. So it's really disparaging. Then you talk about Christopher Columbus in 1492. How you gonna find something when people are already here? This country isn't even named. It's not even named after Christopher Columbus. That's how the name people got the name Indians. Because they seen him and he thought he was an Indian. No, you're in America. That's why they prefer to be called as indigenous people. Me, I prefer to call them American because they are the true Americans. This country is actually named after Amerigo Vespucci. It's not even named after Christopher Columbus. He gets his holiday, and if you work and get that pay, get that double time and a half, I guess it's good to you. But the country is actually named after Amerigo Vespucci. But we do a terrible job in general going after as far as Black History Month. Black History Month is really only taught in Black communities just to appease us. It's maybe in some suburb communities, but I can tell you in rural communities, I know I keep the bread fresh, keep them 100. I dated this girl. She was I dated this girl and she lived out in the rural. She lived out in the sticks. Oh, she was a sister. Don't trip. She was a sister. Don't trip. Well, she'd be considered mulatto. Don't trip. And me and her talked about Black History Month, and she was like, she was one of the only Black kids to go there because even though you mulatto out there, if you mulatto, you still Black. But
but from a
anyway,
lot of your black anyway. Matter.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But anyway, she was just saying that they never celebrated Black History Month out there. Like it is what it is. Not enough Black kids to drum up the cycle to make people want to go out there. So it's not even celebrated like you think in every place. Black History Month is not celebrated, and they go over the same few people: Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. I think they talk about Medgar Evers. Some people they talk about Malcolm X a little bit, but they don't. You don't even really see the Marcus Garveys. You don't even talk about him. They don't. I think they're afraid to empower us unless if you have an African American history class or an African history class, which I'm not even sure how many high schools and public schools teach African American history, like African history, because understand that Black History Month goes far beyond just when we got here. If you truly want to talk about Black history, we should be given the origins of Africa, which is the origins of everything. But no, they just tell us how these former potential slaves did this and how Martin Luther King had this great speech to do this, that, and the other. And my credit to that, that's fine. They talk about Malcolm X. That's fine. Those are great people. I'm saying, listen, you need to listen to Martin Luther King last speeches. and it gets way different than what is Gary, way different than what his previous speeches was. If you listen to his last speeches, he talks about he felt like he took his flock into a burning house, meaning he felt like he led us in the wrong direction. And I think he was going to pivotably change. Have you ever read that? Have you ever read that or saw that speech?
I've seen a lot of his other older ones, not that one. I've seen the one about coming to get his check and everything else. But yeah, he was completely going more towards Malcolm X. But that's why they don't talk about him in the last, years or two of his life.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't fit their narrative of the peaceful Negro, the good Negro. Don't stand up and fight, sit down and chant. Walk together and march, but don't fight back. Let us do what we want to you while you march. But use that as your main form of, fighting back. Peaceful protest.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry I went on my little rant soliloquy, but getting back to the story about the little boy in Oklahoma, he's 13. Why would you say you needed a White History Month and you should be able to wear a shirt, White Queen, as a teacher? What are your thoughts on that?
She's an unhappy person. Probably really bitter. Probably a Trumper. She probably only has like 3 dogs, 1 cat, no boyfriend. Or if she does have a boyfriend, he doesn't really spend much time with her. She just seems to be. That's a sign of a very unhappy person. Somebody who probably shouldn't be teaching kids. Probably somebody with low self-esteem. Maybe someone bigoted. Yes.
Yeah, I'm calling it like you're a teacher. You see, this boy is being proud of the fact, this young man, but he's 13, is proud that he's a black king and is trying to awaken himself to say, I am important. I am a black king. I've seen his last 7, 8 months. You can forget that he may not even know about Trayvon Martin because that happened so many years ago. Maybe he was 4 or 5. Trayvon Martin's been dead for a long time. Think about it. Trayvon Martin died. LeBron James was in Miami when that happened. I'm just giving you a timeline. Since then, LeBron James went to Cleveland for 4 years. This is his 3rd year in LA, so it's at least been 8 or 9 years since Trayvon Martin died. This little boy probably may not. This young man doesn't even maybe remember Trayvon Martin, but he does remember George Floyd. He does remember Breonna Taylor. He does remember Ahmaud Arbery. And then once you get into it, you learn about everything because it's more than just them. It's the Sandra Bland's. You can take it even back further. It's the Emmett Till's, Medgar Evans. It is the Malcolm X's. It is the Martin Luther Kings who somehow mysteriously were assassinated somehow, but the FBI and the local police departments and the CIA were all following them, and yet none of y'all know how they died. That's
Well, I
funny.
know exactly how they died because the people who did it on their deathbed started to confess to it.
Yeah,
A lot of people who had hands in it started confessing to it on their deathbeds. It's just been coming out for a while now.
yeah. Yeah, we touched on that last podcast if you watch it out. But yeah, that got on me. That got on my nerves. Like it took me to a different place. Like I'm already in a different place. Just everything I'm going through, plantar fasciitis, COVID scare, faith, family, relationships, all that, monetary things, all that, being away from the person you deem most to protect and see them going through stuff. That's all a part of mitigating factors. But to see this is kind of sad. But then again, I can't honestly, when you think about it, I wouldn't expect any different. I wouldn't expect any different. The people you put in place to protect us and help us grow don't want to help us and protect us grow. They don't want us to know everything. They just want us to know what they want us to know. And it's taught that way in education. That's why there's not a big, you don't really talk about the black inventors. They don't even the African American or we're not even talked about as far as, as far as inventors. We don't even talk about us a lot. You get George Washington Carver. That's about it.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is a country that doesn't really value education in the first place. So why we expect to get an actual education on black stuff when they don't even give you a fair education on their own shit?
Yeah, this place is built on keeping the masses dumb. It's almost sound like a 5%. We about to get locked up. We're about to be right on YouTube. This is equivalent of the top 5%. I'm gonna do it different than the 5%ers so they won't come after me. The top 2-3% knowing what's good, how things go. The 85% being lost with it, and then act more like 90 to 95%. And then then you can have the 5%ers in there. Because I don't believe it's 85, 10, and 5. I don't believe 10% has that much power. I believe it's broke. I believe it went even further up to about maybe 90, 91, 92.
Yeah.
I believe it's the top 2% that really knows.
I don't know about that. I know maybe I'm thinking somewhere around 1%.
Yeah.
Or maybe actually nobody. Maybe actually no one really knows. People think they know, but no one really knows what's going on. There's so much shit going on at once. Nobody can keep up with the shit.
Nah, I believe people know. You've seen the stuff your president enacted. You've seen how our former president enacted. You've seen how they push an agenda that is streamlined and pure conservatism and with a heavy veil and white power. That's the word I want to go with. I didn't know if I want to use white imperialism or something like that, but that's
Colonizer.
yeah, colonizers. Yeah. Oh, I also read this thing, man. It's pretty good. Tell me your thoughts on this one. I'm gonna hit you. Me and you ain't even talked about this. This is this lady on IG. Can't think of her name. Beautiful sister, none but love for her. She said she lived in Sweden, and she moved from Sweden. She moved from Africa to Sweden, and she was like, how do they call us broke? And then she broke it down. She's like, how do they call people in Africa broke? When we buy land, we buy it. There is no loan. We don't get loans in Africa like that. When we have a car, we buy it. When you see us in an iPhone like 12, we bought it. When you do this, you bought it, you own it. Like everything, the car, the clothes, this, that, and the other, there really is no form of credit there, is what she's saying. So everything we have, like if I got this house and it's worth a million, let's say Kenyan shillings, I bought it with $1 million Kenyan shillings. I never got a bank loan for $1 million Kenyan shillings because they don't give out very many bank loans. It's you save up and you get it that way. So she said, how can you call us broke when everything we have, we own, and yet you live on a conscientious credit? Meaning this shirt, if I could have wanted this shirt and didn't have the cash, there in Africa, you're not getting it. Here, you can have credit card, pull out. I've seen some people have 10 credit cards, scan it, get whatever you want. Your car note. I'm gonna pay this much for, I'm gonna sign this for, I'm gonna put this amount, this X down, this amount down, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna pay this for this many months. Credit. Your house, unless it was given to you. I'm probably one of the weird ones who I actually remember when I bought my house, I actually bought it cash. Like I saved up and bought it cash, so I don't have a house note back home. Here for work, by the way, FYI people. So mine is a little different. But I felt it like you can't cost a group of people. And then another thing that she didn't add that I wanted to add to it is it's hard to call people broke when they're literally supplying everything on the earth for the most part. I mean, as far as your minerals, your gold, your oil, your diamonds, your different metals, different metals and minerals. They're supplying all of that. Everybody else is just profiting. It's corruption. It's corruption everywhere. But it's corruption there because even there, it looks like we are taught to not trust each other. Every time I feel like we do get a good leader in an African country who's about empowering Africans, they are yet assassinated.
Yeah, sometimes it's just their character.
The coup d'etat. Huh?
So sometimes their character's assassinated. Sometimes they're actually assassinated.
Yeah. So how you feel about that? She broke it down on a whole different level. Big shout out to her. I would give her a name, but I don't think she'll watch this.
No, but Yeah, I've heard that a long time ago. Like there was this African woman who did a TED talk, and she was talking about that, like about how they need to start charging everyone the world what their minerals are worth, and not just taking what the world's giving them. Because there's no way that they should be seen as broke in a world when they're the ones who control everything. But yeah, it's the truth.
Yeah.
But if the world looks at you and they see like you got to remember this, black people have the biggest smear campaign running against them since the 1400s. Think about like all the pictures you see of Africa, right? What do they show you?
They show you super poor and impoverished, tin hut villages, people walking like 7 miles, look like they got dirty water on top of their head.
Yeah, but they don't show you like Natal. They don't show you like the capitals of Kenya or
Yeah, they don't show
St.
you
Peter Myersburg,
Nairobi.
any place like that. Nairobi. They don't show you places like that, like that look like motherfucker. Look that place look just like Toronto.
Yeah,
Like you
they
look
don't
at
show
these
you
cities.
parts of Lagos or, different places, which Lagos is in Nigeria or Lagos in Nigeria. Big up to the Nigerians. Big up to everybody in Africa. Ghana, you know.
You know what I'm saying? But like they don't show any of the actual cities in Africa. They show these villages on the outskirts that might be in a war torn country.
Yeah.
Like they they talk about Somalia and how bad it is there. But then there's a small part of Somalia that broke out called Somaliland, which they've been rebuilding and actually making something out of it, like a business center out of it, like kind of like a business hub for that country out of it. And from what I understand, they're actually doing okay with it. And it's like they don't talk about that.
Yeah, they don't talk about Abatabas, which is in Ethiopia. They don't talk about, different places. They don't talk about the good things that are going on in places like, Botswana or stuff like that, or the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm not saying everything's perfect and there is corruption and
Most of the
but I'm
corrupt
just
people went
saying,
to England, went to the West to go to school. That's all I'm saying. Most of the corrupt politicians went to school in a European country and then came back and became and did a lot of the corrupt shit. If you ever look at most of the corrupt people, that's what they did. They're usually children of politicians who decided to have them educated in a European country. So if you're educated by people who don't think you're worth nothing, when you come back to your people, what are you gonna think?
you're gonna think your people not worth anything, and you're gonna cut deals with people who look at you as you not worth anything, but you feel like you in power because in a sense you are, but in a sense you aren't.
Yeah. So when you cut these deals, you don't cut it for the people. You cut the
You
deal
cut it for
specifically for
you,
yourself. You cut them
you,
specifically for yourself.
yeah,
And you
you
say fuck
and
everybody
yourself.
else.
Yeah, so
But
it's go
but
ahead.
then you look at the smear campaign with us here in this country, America. There's parts of the world who think we're horribly lazy because they don't think we're Americans. There are countries that don't think there's such thing as a black American. They think we're immigrants that come over here and sit on our ass. They're never told about any of the shit that we go through. They don't believe the shit that we go through. Just like the guy who tried to rag on LeBron James about LeBron talking political shit. Like, dude, you're a soccer player in another country. You don't know what black people go through over here. Why don't you shut the hell up? But there's a lot of people who try to talk like that on our situation who ain't never been in our situation. Yeah, we're not living under the rule of a fucking warlord who's coming in and shooting up the village. No, we're living under a whole legal system that the only people who really understand what we've been going through for the last 40 years are the black South Africans under the apartheid system. Even though here we have it a little bit better, you're not going to get killed and thrown in jail for walking around with a white girl anymore. But at one point in time, we did. At one point in time, it's like, come on, they used to bait alligators with black babies so they can kill the alligators for alligator belts. But they wouldn't kill the alligator before they got to the baby. They let the alligator have the baby first and then kill them. Then make their belts out of them. Down in Florida.
Yeah, I know that's a whole nother topic.
Niggas are gator bait. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we're used as bait. When you look at the history of this country as far as when they used to have what they call pick a nigga, which is another phrase for like picnics for them. When they used to literally just go pick a black person. It used to be advertised in church and in the paper and go hang them. And then all the families, white families, would just go and take pictures and eat food, have a picnic next to the body and take pictures.
This parts of the body as souvenir. Don't forget that.
Huh?
They'll take parts of the body as souvenirs.
Yeah, they would take whatever they could as souvenirs. This happened in the 1900s. So this happened less than 120 years ago. And if you look, you can do yourself a favor. If you don't believe me, get on Google, type in stuff like that. Like type in pick a nigger picnic pictures and watch the images you see where it's kids smiling, laughing, and playing around, and it's advertised at white churches. They're literally just gonna go and pick a nigga to kill him. Yeah, because it's entertainment. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. For them, killing us was fun. But that's the thing. The reason why they're so hard on us now is because they expect us to retaliate the way they would. You know how they do it when they feel like their government's not like living up to their standards. They go and kill the people in government. That's what they did in the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, any revolution they've ever had. They gonna kill the heads. But we're different. We just want to be left the fuck alone. Like, dude, we don't want your help. We don't want you to come around. We don't want you to try to govern us. Just let us be us. But they can't even do that because every time that we start doing good for ourselves, and this is just in the last 100 years, most of this has happened. It's been happening before that too, but in the last 100 years, it's been at least 5 times that we tried to go on our own, and it was destroyed by law enforcement. We're the only group of people in this country that, if anyone tries to stand up and talk for us, they get killed. Or they get the character assassinated. They get all their assets taken. But back to the kid, that teacher's just probably POS.
Yeah. They said if they find any discrimination, they'll take swift action. But in my opinion, the discrimination's already been done. Because why would you ask the young man about him wearing a Black King shirt? Why? And why would you say we need a White History Month? I think that's all 12 months, because the way you put it in your curriculum is you don't really, in some places, they don't even study Black history. If you go to, this was a rural place in Ohio. So, I mean, you got to think, man, our population usually centers around major cities. So it's places you can go to in huge areas where the population of African Americans is very small because we only make up 13% of the population. And we're usually in metropolitan cities. We're in the Detroits, in the Chicagos. Then you got the littler towns like Toledo. We're in Atlanta. We in Miami. We in Houston. We in Dallas. We in Fort Worth. We in Memphis. We in Nashville. Mm-hmm. But are you in Hocking Hills, Ohio? Are you in Hocking Hills, Ohio? No.
We're not in Chillicothe.
Huh?
Said no, we're not in Chillicothe.
Yeah, we're not in We're not really that. It's not that many of us in Chillicothe, Ohio. I mean, we're in Akron. We're in Akron. We're in Youngstown. We're in even little small cities like that. We're in Lima. But are you in Culver City? Are you? Are you in different places? Are you there? Are you? We're in Knoxville. We might even be in Chattanooga. But
the reason we're not there, it's never been safe for us not to be out there.
Yeah,
it's never been safe for us.
Mm-hmm. So we're in major cities, but I don't think it's many of us in Aurora, Colorado. Not to say it's not any. But there's not very many of us in Spokane, Washington. There's a lot in Seattle, a lot in Tacoma.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Like we're this, that, and the other. We're here, we're there. It's probably not a lot of us in Billings, Montana. It's some, but it's probably not a lot in Billings, Montana. Just population.
Yeah. It's probably not very many of us in the whole state of South Dakota, but still. Probably more of us in Connecticut than there are in the whole state of South Dakota.
Hey, Hartford. I met some people from Hartford. There's some brothers and sisters going hard in Hartford, so I can't Can't give it like that. It's probably not even many in Portland, Maine. Not Oregon, Portland, Maine. Understand there's 2 Portlands.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like Connecticut, it's a really small state. Kind of like Rhode Island. I'm pretty sure there's more black people in Connecticut than there are in South Dakota.
Probably not very many in West Virginia. Morgantown, I did have fun there. In Charleston, West Virginia, yes. I've been to those 2 places, nice places to be. Morgantown's a college town, so who knows who were permanent residents, but Charleston was very nice. But I was in, what was that place I used to always say? I was at the Hermitage, which is an old slave plantation. And even we were in upstate New York. My cousin always has a story, always told me this story, said, I haven't seen your kind up here in like 30, 40 years. This is like in New York, upstate New York, out and about, like not Syracuse. You're just talking about upstate New York and places in West Virginia where black people aren't very prevalent. You have that everywhere.
Yeah, every state has like, places where we don't gravitate towards.
Yeah. I'm trying to name one in Tennessee because I've been to Memphis, Knoxville, Nashville, Jackson. Well, I was trying to think of a place in Tennessee, but I can't think of one. I can't think of one in Atlanta either. But they're, just wherever.
Yeah.
There's places in Iowa, probably not Cedar Rapids, but you know what I mean? Just different places, wherever you go.
Yeah.
So, man, for me, that's about it, brother. It's been a telltale day, man. Everybody keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Life is life. I'm going to try to pull through and do what I do. Quote, I'm paraphrasing. I might do this crazily wrong, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. It's something by Malcolm X. Whenever we come up with a plan, they're going to send our own to dispose of our plan. Meaning, whenever we have a good plan and a good leader, they're going to send somebody just like us to speak against it. And that's what I feel like Herschel Walker did, as far as when he said we didn't need reparations. So, that being said, Herschel Walker, I understand that you are being used as a tool. They only want you to speak because you're speaking what they want you to say.
Nothing wrong with Herschel Ruckus.
Well, I'm out of here. You got last words?
Black folks talking about save me. Ain't nothing wrong with slavery. At least we had good food back then. White man sure could be your friend.
That's Boondocks. That's Uncle Ruckus, who was a very intriguing character. Thought he had reverse vitiligo and pretty much was white. He prayed to white Jesus. It's definitely, if you ever get a chance to watch the Boondocks, watch it.
Yes, he was self-hatred incarnate. So yeah.
So all that being said, man, love y'all. Stay safe. Keep it together. Keep me in your thoughts and your prayers. It is what it is. I'm out.
All right, I'm out too, man. Everybody have a good night and be safe.